Yeah.
And then once you've done that, you can then scale that accordingly to the amount of leads you can handle or your team can handle.
You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
You mentioned follow-up, and I wasn't going to get into this, but so my numbers were 70 to 80% of our deals came from the follow-up. Yours are 90.
Yeah.
What does an effective follow-up system look like for you, Gavin?
Yeah. We'll touch on this real quick. The reason it's 90 is I do proactive marketing. Okay. Proactive marketing, meaning my lead is cold calling and texting. They're kind of my marketing channels, right? Reactive marketing would be direct mail, PPC, Facebook, where they're calling you, right? And they come at different costs. So proactive, meaning that the quality of lead will not be as good normally as an inbound call for the most part, right? And that's probably why if you were doing direct mail, your numbers will look better than the 90%. But basically what happens is when the lead comes in, business partner on the ground, they will get on the phone or acquisition. Okay, we'll get on the phone, have the conversation, and then decide on what we're doing, where they're at, and then they'll go into a sequence, right? And that could be a number of ways. We're going to make an offer. We're going to lock it up over the phone. They're not there yet. Are we going to do a 30-day? Are we going to do a 90-day? And anyone starting off, I would just say to keep it simple, just follow up, put them on a follow-up of 30 days, right? That will then change as you get more leads in the pipeline. Right? It makes sense for the first 100 that you could do 30 days. But as you start getting 200 and 300 and 400, you can't be doing every 30 days, and you will learn to then pad it out accordingly. Yeah. For instance, this guy, not really, based on his situation, we're going to do 90 days, right? Or based on this, we're going to do that. And also you can use systems to be doing the follow-up for you on the cold leads, which is also where the text messages are going out for you. Every 14, 15 days, a text message can go as a point of contact. Now, as soon as they give you something but a no and engage, then it goes back to the phone call and it's kind of back in play. Yeah. So that's kind of how we run it.
Okay, got it. I'm curious, man, you talk about cold calling and text message marketing being your two main marketing channels. What are some best practices? What have you guys found has been extremely effective for you that maybe you see other investors kind of fail in when it comes to those particular marketing channels?
Good question. So cold calling is number one by far. Texting is as and when if I need more leads. The other crazy thing is that I teach a little different, is that I don't teach lead heavy, right? Which means I don't come in and try and blast you with leads. Okay. Anyone that I work with. And here's why. Based on what I've just said, that 90% of the business is follow-up, okay? If we have too many leads coming in, you're then focused on the new leads again, and you're not focused on follow-up, and you can get overwhelmed real quick. So what happens is, let's say we have 5 leads come in today and we only managed to get hold of 2 of them. So we got 3 people we got to lock down that go to tomorrow. And then we have 5 more. Now we got 8. Before the end of the week, you might have 30 leads and you're thinking, I can't keep up here. You start cutting corners, right? So what I get to focus on is actually a foundation of cold calling that is trickling leads in, maybe even 2 or 3 a day to start with, to get you going through the momentum of, right, lead comes in, I get on the phone, I make an offer, I put it in here, next lead, but it's very controlled. Yeah. And then once you've done that, you can then scale that accordingly to the amount of leads you can handle or your team can handle. Okay. So I have the ability, working in a couple of different markets, where I have multiple VAs where I can bring leads in quicker. And then if they're not keeping up, I can then just drip one in a day and then focus on another market, and I can move things around to control that. And I think, so to answer your question, there's a couple of ways that happen. You know, the leads, because they're not putting the right things in place, or they just go all in and go, oh, I got $5,000. I'm going to put $5,000 into marketing this month, blast themselves with leads, and then they're all over the place. They don't do a deal. And then they're back to square one. For me, if you make $5,000 or $10,000, you need to spread that out over 3 months, probably.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then you go and do another deal, and then you bump your budget up over a period of time to keep you consistent. So all of a sudden now you can have a $5,000 budget every month, but for 6 months. So you have 30,000 sitting there. You're not going to go 30 in month 1 though, right? And that's how then you can kind of play. And it becomes back to the lifestyle, because we have got same thoughts of like, how many deals do you want to do? How do you want to, there's a threshold for me to go, I'm not hiring any more people. So we need, as long as we maintain this level, I'm happy.
Yeah. And
that's going to
be different for everybody, you know? And so, you know, somebody listening here, you have to get clear on what it is you want. Maybe the business that Gavin has or that I have, maybe that doesn't fit your vision and your lifestyle, and that's perfectly fine. There's no right or wrong, but you got to gain that clarity on what it is you want and what you want your life to look like. Then go about the business of designing and creating the way that you operate your business to support that. So, dude, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear you say that. And one last quick point on the whole marketing and follow-up, just to buffer your argument, is that the most expensive lead is the one you don't have. And yet that's where most people spend 90% of their time is new marketing, generating new leads. But the opportunity cost lies within the leads you already have in your pipeline. That's where the gold is. You know, Gavin 100%. Talked about 90%. For me, it's 70, 80%. That's the majority of your leads. The opportunity cost of not focusing on those leads is where people are going wrong when it comes to just marketing and the whole follow-up, in my opinion. Hope you enjoyed that episode. But before you go, you know, I've had a lot of people recently reach out to me wanting to learn more about Ascend, wanting to understand how the mastermind component works, how the coaching relationship works. And so right now we're actually on a waiting list. But what I would encourage you to do is, if you think you're the right fit and you think you could benefit from being a part of our community, head over to ascendyoursuccess.com, watch the short video, and then just click the apply to join button below. And then we'll be in contact with you if and when a spot opens up. So really appreciate you listening to Flip Empire here. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next show. Take care.